12 years. So I'm here, because I have a really, really close link to Indonesia. I tell my team that are from Indonesia that I feel really attached to Indonesia. I go every year, can't go now because of COVID. And I have many Indonesian friends, both in Australia and Indonesia, and it's my second home. So it is with great pleasure that I'm here today to try to offer you all some guidance so that you can plan your pathway to permanent residency as efficiently as possible, and to feel more confident that you are actually on the right path that will actually let you achieve that really desirable goal of having that permanent residency. Now, let me pass you on to Ardana.
Okay.
Halo, tes. Dengar semua? Halo?
Ya, oke.
Guys? Oke. Izinkan saya pakai bahasa Indonesia karena di sini teman-teman kita dari Indonesia. Let me to introduce myself, Samantha, to my Indonesian people with bahasa Indonesia.
Oke, in bahasa.
In bahasa. Oke, guys, selamat malam semua, dan mungkin di sana selamat siang dan selamat sore. Senang sekali, saya Ardana Gumai dari Excellency Study Sydney, Australia. Saya di sini bertindak sebagai International Relationship Director, dan kami berasal dari Sydney dan juga berkantor ada di beberapa kota di Indonesia, salah satunya ada di Bali, dan juga kita ada di Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, dan soon akan kita membuka kantor di Darwin. Doakan ya Pak.
Good. It sounds good. Yes.
Sebelumnya saya akan memberitahukan dulu apa itu Education Consultant Company, karena kebetulan juga saya bekerja di Education Consultant Company atau di kantor konsultan pendidikan. Konsultan pendidikan itu adalah satu hal yang sangat penting buat teman-teman jika kalian ingin sekolah ataupun juga ingin ke Australia. Mungkin dengan jalur-jalur khusus ya, kita bisa membantu teman-teman baik untuk permanent resident maupun juga sebagai student. Dan juga kalau teman-teman mau bekerja, kita juga bisa memprovide dengan cara kami. Dan tugas dari Education Consultant, namanya juga konsultan, otomatis membantu segala kebutuhan yang diperlukan teman-teman jika ingin sekolah ke Australia. Tugasnya itu apa? Banyak sekali, mulai mencarikan sekolah yang sesuai dengan pilihan kalian dan juga dengan dana yang kalian miliki, dan juga tujuan kalian sekolah itu untuk apa? Apakah nanti menjadi permanent resident atau hanya ingin sekolah aja, terus pulang ke Indonesia membawa ilmunya. Dan juga Education Consultant itu sangat-sangat membantu jika kalian ada masalah dengan urusan sekolah ataupun juga dengan hukum dari Australia. Secara global, tugas dari Education Consultant seperti itu. Mungkin detailnya nanti kita bisa diskusi, ada tanya jawab. Oke, terima kasih. Silakan, host.
Yes, now I invite Samantha to share your views on how to get permanent resident in Australia. Now,
Thank you, Consulate General. I would like to tell you all a little bit about the immigration landscape in Australia, first of all. Now, we've all been suffering through a lockdown and a border closure for more than 12 months, far away from our families and our friends, and not being able to travel. But there's a very good advantage to this right now. And that advantage is that you may know the Federal Treasurer from watching the news, and he did make an announcement that skilled migration will be very important in the 2022 financial year. Now, that means that over the next 12 months, we can actually expect a lot of skilled migration approval. So that is permanent residency as a skilled individual, right? Now, he also went on to mention that most of this skilled migration will be focused onshore. And the reason for that is that the borders will remain closed for more than 12 months, right? So because of that border closure, it will be very hard to bring skilled migrants from overseas into Australia. And so they will try to approve and grant as many permanent residency in Australia for temporary visa holders in Australia like yourselves. Yes? Now, do you understand me? Do you understand what I am saying? Am I speaking too quickly or is it okay? Is it good?
Good, Sam.
Yep. Okay, I'll continue. So what can we do about it? So there are a variety of visas that can lead to permanent residency. In the skilled migration visas, have you heard of the points system? Yes, where you have to count points for your age, count points for your qualification, count points for your English, etc. Yeah? So the top visa, the most important is the subclass 189. And the key factors there are you must have an occupation on that list. You must have a skills assessment. And I can talk to you about this in person, one-on-one, when you want to. And you must have at least 6 in each band of English. Do you understand what I mean by 6 in each band of English? No? Have you heard of the IELTS exam?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Have any of you done the IELTS exam?
Yes. So you mean like as certificate? Yeah.
And you can get points on your IELTS exam for
Right.
speaking, listening, reading, and writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So for the immigration direct permanent residency, you need to have 6666, or if you choose PTE, have you heard of the PTE exam?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one you need 50, 50, 50, 50.
Okay.
And by the way, many people say PTE is much easier.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
Okay,
definitely
Easier
recommended.
than IELTS.
So this is the one first thing that's very important, is to have
What
the
about
English
TOEFL?
results. Yes?
When they have TOEFL results with them,
I can't remember the results of TOEFL. It's very uncommon. I can check it, but it's always going to be evaluated as competent English, right?
okay,
Yeah.
I can check it in 5 minutes. I've got the whole list. Also, you can do CAE, you know.
Yeah.
There are about 5 or 6 different exams. You can do OET, but the most common are PTE and IELTS.
IELTS.
And PTE is great because it has a very fast turnover. What that means is you go do the test on Friday and you get the results on Monday. And if you didn't get the result, do it again on Wednesday and get the results on Friday. So it's very quick. Yeah?
Right.
And everyone says it's much easier. Okay? So it's very convenient. So that's one important obstacle, right? The English.
Yeah.
Another very important obstacle is a skills assessment. And let's give the example of a chef. Hi, Evie. Let's give an example of a chef.
Yeah, okay.
Chef is one of my favorites, right?
Yeah.
You know why? Because particularly in Darwin and all the regional areas, if you want skilled migration from the state, the most important criteria for the state is employability. What I mean by employability is you need to be working in your field, right?
Yeah.
So in your job that is for skilled migration. And if you go on seek.com.au and you search jobs in Darwin, there are two that I know of that are in very high demand. What I mean by high demand is there are jobs everywhere, okay? And that is chef and nurse.
Yeah, chef and nurse.
Yeah, the whole country needs chefs and the whole country needs nurses, right? Nurses, they need in every hospital, in every clinic. If not, they have to close. They cannot operate without a registered nurse. It's
Right,
crucial, right?
Yeah.
But nursing requires a bachelor or a master degree in nursing plus registration. And registration requires 7777.
Yeah.
So the English is harder. And let's be completely honest. Nursing is a very hard job. You need to have a very special personality to be able to be a nurse for several years. You have to, it has to be your passion, right? So we need to be able to explore your passions and your abilities, right?
It's not only a profession, but also a passion, yeah?
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. You know, a lot of people like medicine, but they'll go into being a doctor instead of a nurse because nursing is very hard on the job, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, medicine's very hard to study, but nursing is very hard to do every day. So it takes a lot of passion and wanting to care for people to go into the career of nursing. And that's why there are so many vacancies all over the country. There are so many jobs available for nurses everywhere. Because not many people want to go through the journey of bachelor in English and then working for several years as a nurse. But we need them. We need them desperately.
Right, right.
The other very important occupation is chef. Now, do you know why there are so many jobs for chefs in Australia? Does anybody know?
Yeah, let us ask our friends. There are many now. Yeah.
Like seriously, we Australians love to go to restaurants, right?
Right.
We love to go to Indonesians and we love to go to Thai restaurants and Indian restaurants, Italian, every
Right.
food from every corner of the planet. If Australians could go to restaurants every day, they would go every day. Yeah? But you cannot keep a restaurant open if you don't have skilled chefs in the commercial kitchen, right?
Right.
And the pay is not fantastic and it's hard work, right? You're on your feet. It's at lunchtime and dinner time, it's high pressure, right? I sometimes hear stories of chefs wanting to throw knives at each other, you know, which is not good, not good. But we love the food culture in Australia. Many people from around the world say Australians don't have food culture. We actually have very good international food culture. We love to have every day of the week a different cuisine from a different country. But Australians don't really like to work in a commercial kitchen.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the hard work and the pay is not fantastic, right? It's what, for a chef, it's around 26, 27, 28, $29 an hour during the week, yeah? For hard work. But hey, it can get you permanent residency, right? It can get you permanent residency and the English is just a minimum of 6 in each band, right? So those are the two occupations I like to focus on, but there are so many more occupations, right? So first of all, I was talking about the point system with the subclass 189, which is direct PR from immigration. To apply for, let's just say you're a chef, right? To apply for the first step is make sure you have 6 in each band. Second step is make sure you can get a skills assessment. We will talk about skills assessments later. And then make sure you have at least 65 points.
65 points.
But I must clarify, 65 points allows you to apply for an expression of interest with immigration. It is not a visa application. Okay? If they have 10,000 chefs applying for a 189 visa, and 1,000 chefs have 95 points, well, the 1,000 chefs with 95 points will get an invitation for permanent residency. The ones with 65 points might not. Okay? Understand? But for the people in Darwin, you have a very good advantage.
Oh,
And that advantage is if you're working as a chef for, let's say, 6 months to a year in Darwin, you can apply for a different points visa, like the 190 or the 491, right? And you can request an invitation from Darwin by demonstrating living and working as a chef for around a year. Yeah.
yeah.
And they may give you an invitation for, instead of a 189, you'll get for 190, which is permanent residency, or a 491, which is pathway to permanent residency.
Right.
And that's why I'm going to move on to the next very important criteria. So we talked about English, we talked about skills assessment, and now I'm going to talk about employability. Yes.
Samantha, maybe, just to make other friends in the taking part in this program know clearly about the points. Could you just, a little bit explain about the points, maybe related to age, related, because this is just giving them a good, basic, knowledge about the points so that they can take up from there when we discuss further on this.
Okay, that's a great idea. Ricky Putra. Hey, what's your job?
I'm a chef.
I knew it because while I was talking, you were going,
Good job, mate.
yeah. Ricky, do you live in Darwin?
No, actually, I live in Melbourne.
Oh no, we have to move you to Darwin. But anyway, don't worry. Are you comfortable with me just going through points with you?
Sure, yeah. No worries.
I'll
Yeah.
use you as an example.
For others as well.
Yeah.
Okay, just for fun, yeah? So we can give people an idea. Now, bear in mind, I have a lot of knowledge, but I have very bad memory. So I might not remember very much. Ricky, how old are you?
No worries.
I'm 23.
Say that again.
23, turning 24 next month.
All right. So
Yeah.
up until before 25 years old, you get 25 points for age. Once Ricky turns 25, he will have the maximum, which is 30 points for age. Okay.
Okay. Good.
At 33, it drops down to 25 and so on. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's age. Are you single or married or de facto?
Single.
Okay. He gets an extra 10 points because he's single, right? So right
Yeah.
now he has 35 points.
Right.
Are you on a student visa?
No.
What's your
I'm on
visa?
a working holiday, but I'm going to get a student visa. I'm going to study after.
You're going to study to be a chef, right? I'm going to talk to you. Okay, so let's
Well, actually-
imagine that we enrolled Ricky on a 2-year
Yeah.
chef course,
Okay.
right? In Darwin. Let's just give the example of how
Got it,
we can get points. Once he finishes his 2-year course, he will hold a certificate for in commercial cookery plus a diploma of hospitality management. That's considered a trade level course. He'll get 10 points for his qualification. So we had 30, 45, right? No,
Right. 45.
25,
10 and 10.
35, right?
Yeah.
But by the time you finish your course, you're going to be 26.
Yeah.
So let's calculate 2 years from now, right? So in 2 years, you'll have 30 points for age,
Yep.
10 points for single,
Mm-hmm.
10 points for having a trade qualification. So you're
Right.
up to 30, 40, 50 points.
50
Yeah.
You
points.
get 5 points, right? Because you did 2 years study in Australia,
Yeah.
55 points.
Okay.
Because you studied 2 years in Darwin, you get extra 5 points,
Okay.
60 points. Yeah. And then when you finish your course, you apply for a work visa,
Yeah.
485. After 1 year working as a chef, extra 5 points. You're up to 65 points.
65.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What level of English do you think you have, Ricky?
I would say it's not it's I'm not really sure what's the levels, like names,
All
but
right.
it's above the average.
Yeah. So, well, okay.
Yeah.
Before I was a migration agent that I started
Mhm.
12 years ago, before that, I was an English teacher for 18 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I used to teach IELTS a lot. So your speaking can get a 7,
7.
probably. Your fluency and pronunciation is at 7. I wouldn't know how expansive your vocabulary and grammar is, but I'm
Okay.
inclined to say between a 6 and a 7. I don't know your writing. I don't know your reading. I don't know your listening. Okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
But you're definitely between a 6 and a 7.
Cool.
Let's just say that after 2 years of study in Australia, he gets 7 in each band.
mhm.
We were at 65. Now he gets 75.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
plus 10, okay.
Mhm.
So 6 in each is 0 points. 7 in each is 10 points.
10 points.
8 in each is 20 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that would be an example of Ricky with 75 points in Darwin after studying for 2 years and then applying for work visa for 1 year, working as a chef.
Mhm.
Yeah. And because he's been working as a chef for 1 year in Darwin,
Mhm.
he can apply for state nomination.
Oh, okay. Some
He may
points.
be offered 190, he may be offered 491. 190 is better because it's direct permanent residency. 491 is transitional to permanent residency.
Mhm.
Okay. If he gets offered for a 190, his 70 points becomes 75. If he's offered 491, his 70 points becomes 85.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need 189 if you're in Darwin. You can apply for 190 or 491.
Mm.
Okay. And I won't go into the details right now about 491 and 190, but that's an example of how Ricky works. So I can direct you to my website and you can do your own calculation of points on my
Points,
points
yeah.
calculator.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a very good points calculator on the website for you to be able to make your own calculation, but you need to have a professional agent do your calculation properly, because some people go, oh, I worked for 5 years as a chef in Indonesia. Oh, well, that's 10 points. But if you have no financial documents to prove it, I can't count those points.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Understand?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's a little bit more tricky than what we think. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's a summary of the point system,
Point system.
using an example.
Very
Okay.
good. Thank you, very good. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Now let's use Ricky as an example again. Okay. Before I started explaining about the points system, I was mentioning the word to you all of employability, and this is crucial.
Right, right.
Okay. Employability is very important because right now, I think that in the next 12 months, there's a really strong chance that a lot of candidates will get permanent residency. But maybe, just maybe, a lot of the candidates here today are not ready for English, or they're not ready for their skills assessment. Okay.
Mhm.
So it will take longer than 12 months to get to the PR pathway, right?
Mhm.
So it's really important to choose a course of study that you are passionate about, that's on the permanent visa list, and that will offer you the opportunity of jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's talk about accountants, right?
Mm.
It's a very highly skilled occupation.
Mhm.
But the very big problem that we have is that a huge amount of student visa holders in Australia choose to study accounting. And when they complete their accounting course, they have one very big problem.
Oh,
Nobody wants to give them a job.
Mm.
So if you find yourself on a work visa after you complete your accounting qualification, you might find it very hard to get a job, and that could stop you from getting permanent residency,
Mm.
or might make it take longer than you were hoping for. Okay?
mm,
The same can happen to IT professionals. For example, in Darwin, there are no jobs for IT professionals. There are many jobs in Sydney and in Melbourne, but not so much in Darwin, right? So if we focus on studying a bachelor degree or a master degree in IT, and we want to become a business analyst, or we want to become a software engineer, or we want to become a programmer developer, for example,
right.
the truth is, the same as Indonesia, everyone wants to finish uni and get a graduate job, right?
Yeah.
And the truth is that all the Australian graduates struggle to get a graduate job, but they do end up getting one after 6 months to a year. Overseas students have much less opportunity because you get a 2-year work visa. And in those 2 years, an employer wants to invest in you for several years. The first year is basically training you, and then they will only have 1 year left on your work visa. So they struggle in making the decision to employ international students because they are worried that they cannot keep you for several years. So it's very hard to get jobs in accounting and IT. Now, if you're passionate, you already have a degree in IT from your country or accounting, you've already got the skills, you are more employable, right?
Yeah.
But without employability in Darwin, you will have a problem, right?
Right, right.
Okay, so it's very important for me to make an assessment case by case, right? I need to be able to focus on your personal skills, your passions and your abilities, your background education, your background experience, to be able to see which is the best occupation for you. I'm not here to choose your career. Okay, that's not my job. That's your job to choose your career. But I can give you all the advice you need, right? Based on your long-term goal. If your long-term goal is permanent residency, let's not waste time with courses that are not useful.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the right course that can get you jobs at the end of it so that you can get your permanent residency. If your goal is to stay in Australia a couple years, go on a student visa, then go home, save money, yeah, that's not a problem. Study anything. Understand?
Okay.
Yeah?
Understand.
Now, let's talk about skills assessment. I'm going to go back to Ricky.
Okay.
Is that okay, Ricky?
Of course.
All right. So Ricky's on a working holiday visa. His
Yes.
working holiday visa will expire soon. He wants to apply for a student visa. Ricky comes to me and he tells me, Sam, I want to stay in Australia, study a course. And I go, well, tell me, what were you doing in Indonesia and what work are you doing in Australia? And what would Ricky tell me? What would you tell me, Ricky?
Well, I will tell you that I want to be a chef in Australia.
Why do you want to be a
first of all-
chef? Why do you want to be a chef?
Because I'm passionate about it.
Well, what's
And
your
I've been-
job? What job are you doing right now?
I'm a chef, but I mean, like, I want to be to be able to become a chef, like, with a PR.
Executive
you know?
chef.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, like,
Okay.
yeah,
What
yeah.
were you doing in Indonesia?
I finished study like 2015, and then I was working in a resort as a chef as well.
Oh,
Also
So-
doing some tour guiding.
okay. So
Yeah.
if I look at your profile, the first thing I'm going to see is
Mhm.
you are a genuine chef
Okay.
because
yeah.
you were doing this in your country.
Yeah.
It's not like many students in Australia who the easiest job to get is working in a kitchen. You already have that in your blood. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so I would recommend you now that your working holiday visa is about to expire and you want a student visa, I would say please study commercial cookery.
Okay.
I know you already have a qualification from Indonesia, but you need a student visa. I don't want you to waste time studying a course that is not useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to study a course that can take you to a pathway of recognized Australian qualification plus the opportunity to work full-time in Australia afterwards, and that opportunity will get you permanent residency. So
Yeah.
I would recommend to Ricky, okay, you're working full-time as a chef. When you start your student visa, you'll be able to work part-time as a chef. Right now, chefs can work full-time on a student visa, by the way.
Yeah.
Because hospitality industry is open to full-time during COVID.
Mhm.
So you would apply for your student visa, start your course, work towards it. It'll be very easy for you because you've been there, you've done that, you understand everything. But you will be able to learn possibly more cuisines in Australia, or the program will be different. So there will be some stuff for you to learn. You'll finish that course and then you'll come to me and say, Sam, what do I do now? And I'll say, okay, your course finished yesterday. You have 2 more months left on your visa. You can work full-time after your course finishes. Now, next step is we are going to apply for step 1 of your skills assessment. That's called the provisional skills assessment. And all I need for that is your qualifications and 360 hours of experience. So then I apply for the skills assessment, step 1. And then after that, I can apply for a 485 work visa.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This will allow Ricky then to continue working full-time for close to 2 years. Right? And during that 2-year period, we will be doing 2 things. Number 1, working through step 2, 3, and 4 of the skills assessment, which is called the Job Ready program. And that means that wherever you're working as a chef, and by the way, Ricky will get jobs anywhere in the country at any time because there are chef jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So all we need to do for step 2 is complete 800 hours working, and your head chef will tick some forms saying, yep, he can do this. Yep, he can do this. Yep, he can do this. Send it to the skills assessment body. After 800 hours, step 3. Step 3 is assessment. Someone from the skills assessment body will check your work. If you pass, the last step 3 is finish 800 more hours. Come to me, Sam, I've done my hours. I apply for full skills assessment, right? Now, at this stage, 1 year will have passed of Ricky's work visa. And I will have in my hands a full skills assessment. And Ricky will still have 6 months left on his visa. Let's say Ricky's working in Darwin.
Yeah.
I can apply for 491 or 190 in Darwin, and Ricky's on his way to permanent residency. Understand?
Understand. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions at this stage? No questions?
Yes, please, Pak Alex. Yeah.
Alex, do you have a question?
Alex, ada yang mau ditanya nggak?
Yeah, Ardana, you can translate.
Ya, Alex ada yang mau ditanya? Ya, I'm translating. Ada yang mau ditanya?
No question.
Oh, no question.
Oh, itu.
Oh, there's a question here from Audi.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sam. Hi. I just wanted to ask you about. So you told us about the trap of IT students being unable to find jobs, and I'm currently in that rabbit hole right now. Is there
How old are you, Audi?
I'm 23. I'm 23 years old this year. I graduated with a bachelor's degree from university.
And where did you do your high school?
In Indonesia, and I came here to do my bachelor's degree in business analytics in Macquarie Uni.
You have amazing English. You sound Aussie almost.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, so Audi, like we would need to make an assessment for you to see how many points you have. You finished your bachelor. Are you on your 485 now?
Sorry.
Have you finished your bachelor?
Yeah, I'm on my 4.8 post-study visa right now.
Okay.
Temporary.
So in your particular example, right, you need to get your skills assessment, and you have two pathways to get skills assessment, right?
Yeah.
Pathway 1 is professional year completion. Pathway 2 is 1 year experience in your field. When was
Okay.
your 485 approved?
My 485 was approved last year, 14th of April.
So it's been over a year. Did you start your professional year?
I haven't started my professional year because I was applying for jobs last year and I didn't manage to secure any, and I'm just currently at loss on what to do.
You got a
Is
big
it too
problem on
late?
your hands. We have to talk separately because your visa will be expiring April next year,
Yes.
and we're in June, which means we only have 8 months left,
Okay.
right?
That's right.
So you need to complete your professional year while you are on your student visa. I mean, on your 485 visa.
Okay.
And completing the professional year allows you to actually get your skills assessment without experience.
So just a quick question. If hypothetically I would take a master's in business analytics and any other related fields, will it help me in securing my 190 visa or 189 visa? Is there a chance or possibility, or do I need some sort of professional experience to do it?
So remember how I was talking before that you need to have the English, which you obviously have, and you need to have the skills assessment.
Yes.
Each occupation has different requirements for skills assessment.
All right.
Yours in particular requires you to have a skills assessment through ACS, and ACS requires either professional year or 1 year experience. But what is your occupation? Business analyst?
Yes.
So that's definitely ACS. So the pathway 1 is professional year for 1 year. Pathway 2 is employment 1 year. So you can't apply for a permanent visa without one of those to get your full skills assessment. Now, what we need to explore is the possibility of software engineer, because if it's software engineer, we could try to go with Engineers Australia.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Right. And in their case, they would require, competency reports of projects that you did at uni, etc. So that's a possibility, but it all depends on the majors you studied at your uni and what occupations they believe you qualify for.
Right.
If it's business analyst or systems analyst, which is pretty much the same group, that would be ACS. If there's an engineering role, that could be Engineers Australia, and that could give you a life-saving opportunity.
Okay.
So I wish you'd come to me 2 months ago. I would have forced you into a professional year course.
Okay.
But let me see what we can do, talking to the professional year institutions to see if you could do it in 10 months. I don't think so, but we can try. We can talk about it on Monday.
Okay, no worries, Samantha. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions?
Yes, please. Silakan. Teman-teman yang apa? Banyak ini ada 23 orang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question.
Silakan.
Hi, Samantha. Can
Hello.
you tell me more about state nomination? So what are the requirements? I'm living in Melbourne right now, and just a bit background, I just graduated from Melbourne Uni doing chemical engineering.
Wow.
And I managed to secure a job as well, thankfully.
Where's the job?
It's at a chemical manufacturing plant.
In Melbourne?
In Melbourne.
All right. So 2 things. Chemical engineer falls under Engineers Australia.
Yeah.
So we will need to acquire a skills assessment from Engineers Australia. There are two pathways, which is the Washington Accord, or three actually, the Washington Accord, or a valued Australian qualification, or CDR reports. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about, Enda?
Yeah, so I applied one from the Washington Accord and got my.
Is that so? You've got your skills assessment.
Yeah, I got my.
Beautiful.
skills assessment. Yeah.
Beautiful. So now we're at the stage of you've got your skills assessment. It's time to count points and lodge an expression of interest. Chemical
Mhm.
engineer is a great occupation, right? But I have to double check with state nomination because I can't memorize all the occupations that they're accepting at the moment.
Yeah.
In Melbourne in particular, with state nomination, they have additional criteria. Sometimes they require a certain amount of years of experience for certain occupations.
Mhm.
Okay. In, for example, New South Wales, there's no criteria. Everyone can apply for 190 in New South Wales. But the difference is there are so many people with expressions of interest in New South Wales. New South Wales only offers invitations to those with the highest points. In the last month in New South Wales, I've received about 5 invitations for people with 85 points.
Okay.
So it was pretty easy. And they had no experience. Because they had high English, they were able to do it. And they were all engineers, civil engineers, and business analysts. Yeah, Audi, Anglin, business analysts, systems analysts. So they all got invitations from New South Wales.
Yeah.
Even though their list is very short.
Okay.
Right. In Melbourne, I've got to check the criteria for each occupation and check if your occupation's on that list.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that you start working. Have you applied for your 485?
Yep, I've applied, but I'm still on bridging.
Fantastic. If they take a long time, it's better for you because it gives you
I
more
know,
opportunity
yeah.
to work more, right?
Yeah. I know.
So
I
let them
hope
take
so.
6 months to 12 months. Meanwhile, you have full-time work rights. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So in your particular situation, working in your field is crucial. Having that job is going to make you more and more employable. It's very customary in Australia for people to get better jobs while they're working.
Mm-hmm.
When someone's not working, it's hard to get back into work.
Yeah.
So if you are working in your field as a chemical engineer, you will only get better job offers, and employability is what gets you permanent residency, particularly in Melbourne. Okay, so get that job, start working, get past the graduate stage where the first year they consider you to be a graduate, and we can actually consider doing an expression of interest if you have enough points, which I assume you would.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then with the expression of interest, so when we launch the application, how long will our EOI be in the system? I heard it's only for 2 years.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Right.
So an expression of interest stays active in immigration system for 2 years. In those 2 years, you have the option of trying to build up your points, right? With experience, with English, with professional year, with NAATI accreditation, etc., right? Or you can opt for not going for the 189 and trying to get a 190 or a 491.
Mhm.
The 190 and the 491 are state nomination.
Yeah.
And each state requires additional criteria.
Mhm.
New South Wales requires that you're living here for at least 3 months. Darwin, not working, living. Darwin requires 6 months to a year employment in your field. Adelaide requires between 6 months and 2 years employment in your field, depending on the occupation, right?
Yeah.
Every state is different. So in all of them, I can only keep telling you employability is crucial. So clearly, Enda, you're very passionate about what you do. You've studied at a great university.
Yeah.
You've gotten a job offer. That means that you know your stuff. Okay. So get that job, start working as a chemical engineer, and get to your PR faster.
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Samantha.
No worries. Any more questions out there? All right. I would like to move on. Yes. Question?
No. I was just asking our friends, taking part in the program, to to ask questions, whatever they have in mind.
I can see only a few faces, but if there's anyone that would like to ask a question, please ask. Is that Stenardi with a hand asking question?
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let me go on to something else.
Yeah.
Maybe you're all asking, what's the difference between 190 state nomination and 491 state nomination? If you want to know the difference, I can explain that now. So the major difference between 190 and 491 is that 190 is for the whole state, including the capital city, whereas 491 is defined as regional. Okay, so they all have all the states of Australia have 190 and all the states of Australia have 491. Okay, let's give the example of Darwin. Darwin is the capital of Northern Territory. However, all of Darwin is considered regional. So all of the Northern Territory is considered regional. So you can apply for either 190 or 491. Let's talk about New South Wales. Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne are not considered regional. So that's why no one can apply for 491 if they live and work in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane. They can only apply for 190. So that's a great advantage of Darwin because you have both visa options. Let me talk to you about another difference between 190 and 491. 190, if the state approves your invitation, you get 5 extra points. With 491, if the state approves your invitation, you get 15 points extra. Okay? So let's just imagine that Ricky only manages to scrape in with 50 points. But he works in Darwin for a whole year and he asks for a 491. If the state approves it, his 50 points become 65. He can apply for the visa, right? Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about the different benefits of 190 and 491. So let's imagine that I'm in charge of visas in Darwin, right? And I can issue nominations for 190 and I can issue nominations for 491. And I have 2 different candidates. One candidate flew in from Sydney 6 months ago, started working as a chef for 6 months. The other candidate, we'll call him Ricky, flew into Darwin 3 years ago, studied commercial cookery in Darwin 2 years, then worked for a year as a chef, and he's applied as well. I'm going to offer one of them 190 and I'm going to offer the other one 491. The difference is 190 is permanent residency, 491 is temporary residency for 5 years, right? I will issue the 190 to Ricky and I will issue the other candidate 491. And the reason for that is if a state is giving you nomination, it's because the state needs you to live and work in their state. Now, do they trust the candidate who's been there 6 months or do they trust Ricky who's been there for 3 years? They will believe that Ricky has established himself in Darwin. Ricky feels like Darwin is home. Ricky has made friends and everything in Darwin. Ricky goes to, social groups in Darwin. Ricky's not going to leave after he gets 190. But a candidate who's been in Darwin for 6 months might leave after he gets the 190. So they choose to give the other candidate a 491. And that's because when your temporary visa is granted for 3 years, you have one major obligation. That one major obligation is live and work in that region for minimum 3 years. Yeah? And Ricky's already done that. So live and work in that region for minimum 3 years. And then after that, tell immigration that your salary was minimum 54,000 a year and apply for PR. Done. That's all you need. Live, work in the region for 3 years. Make sure your income is minimum 54,000 per year. By the way, any job. By the way, more than one job. You can do whatever you want as long as your tax return is 54,000. Okay? So doesn't matter what you work, it doesn't matter how many jobs you have, as long as your tax return is 54,000 minimum for 3 years in a row. That's all you need for PR. And you get Medicare with 190, you get Medicare with 491. So it's like being an Australian already, permanent resident. Okay, so the regional area will offer you 491 so that you stay in their region for a few years. They will offer you 190 if they are confident that you've been there for a while and you're probably going to stay. That's one of the biggest differences there with the Darwin and other states, 491 and 190. Does anybody have questions?
Yes, please, silakan.
Yes.
We have quite an impressive number. It is 26 of them now.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are inviting friends, please, just wave your hands. Yeah. Samantha is here to take up.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. Silakan.
May I ask you, Samantha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's speaking?
Yeah. I'm from the consulate.
Julius speaking.
Yeah. Mr. Julius.
I can't see him anywhere.
I'm here from the consulate. Yeah.
I know. Tell me, ask me.
Yeah. I understand you have helped lots of international students, including Indonesian students in Australia in relation to immigration, facilities, especially to succeed in applying for PR, permanent residence in Australia. Could you please share the common obstacles or the common problems encountered by the Indonesian students in applying for PR in Australia? Yeah.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Can I be completely honest here?
Yeah.
Please do.
Be honest.
Australia and Indonesia are like brothers and sisters, yeah? Brother nations. For that reason, it's very easy for Indonesians to get visas in Australia. Yeah, Indonesia is considered assessment level 1 country, right? And as a result, many Indonesian students can actually continue on a student visa for many, many years. Whereas other countries, they can maybe pull off 4 years. Most Indonesians can pull off 6 to 8 years on a student visa. So a lot of the Indonesian students that come to me go, oh, I don't want to study hard. I just want to spend some years in Australia. So they study courses that are not useful and they're cheap. And I say to them, and this is not just Indonesian, all my South Americans, the students as well, because it's very easy for South Americans to get visas. So this allows you to come to this country, be here many years, and waste a little bit of time to get to your permanent residency because it's so easy, right? So it takes a couple of years for my clients to actually sit down and think, hold on, I really want PR. So a little bit of time can be wasted along the way, studying courses that are not useful. But that's okay. If you're not ready, you're not ready. The other obstacle that I find is that is sometimes struggles with English for a lot of the students. So getting that permanent residency needs to be minimum 6 in each band. So for those candidates, I have other options for permanent residency pathway, and I can explain that now, right? So a very common occupation is chef because in particular, Southeast Asians and South Americans get a lot of jobs as chefs. Subcontinent a little bit harder, I don't know why, but it's very common to find really skilled chefs from Southeast Asia. Yeah, and great chefs actually. And also I have to say Nepalese, a lot of really great Nepalese chefs as well. And that's very common. So I find that I've got candidates, right, that have all these years on a student visa, 4 or 5 years on a student visa studying diploma of business, diploma of marketing, social studies, or things that are not relevant to their field, but they've been working as a chef part-time for 4 or 5 years. If they leave their job, their boss dies, right? Gets so upset, they need them, right? And so they don't want to study anymore, but they can't get 6 in each band. So what I do is I say, okay, well, why aren't you studying commercial cookery? If they finish commercial cookery, they can't get 6 in each band, right? But they've been working as a chef for a few years. I can talk to their boss and say, hey, his visa's finishing. Why don't you sponsor them, right? And you can apply for a sponsorship visa like a 482, because all you need is a qualification and 2 years full-time experience, which is equal to 4 years part-time. And you can then get a work visa for 4 years. And that gives the student time to build their English to 6, because then they can apply for the PR after 3 years on 6 in each band. So it gives some clients time to improve their English. So those are the 2 main issues that I discovered with Indonesians, is that a lot of them are enjoying life in Australia, doing courses that are not that important and not really connected to what they love and what they are great at, right? And also that some small groups actually struggle with the English criteria. That's in all honesty my experience. I have different examples for different nationality groups. And I try to find the best pathway for each particular candidate. But can I say, everyone in this group today that's spoken has amazingly good English, yeah? All of you, really. No, it's truth. I'm being completely honest. English teacher for 18 years before I became an agent. You all have very good English, really good English, you know? So I'm very happy to hear that, yeah? Any more questions? Yeah, go ahead, Audi.
Audi, yeah. Silakan, Mas.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just wanting to ask you about the professional year thing, because I just had a quick glance on the requirements, and it says that you're able to apply as long as you have a secondary visa, which holds full working rights. And as far as I know, and you may correct me if I'm mistaken, that if you're studying a master's degree in Australia, you have full working rights. Can maybe perhaps, is that a solution, or it's pretty much a dead end?
All right. So you need to define the difference between a master degree by coursework and a master degree by research. Master degree by coursework does not give you full-time work rights, only master degree by research. Okay. That's the first obstacle. Secondly, I have a feeling that the student visa will not allow you to actually get the 485 for finish the professional year. But what I can do is give them a call and see if you, because you're short 2 months, if you can actually do it while you're on the bridging visa, waiting for the student visa to get granted. Yeah. So we need to find out if we can fill that gap there during the bridging visa, because your full-time work. So bridging visas work like this. When you apply for a new visa,
yeah,
the day after your current visa expires is the day that your bridging visa becomes active.
okay.
And the conditions that you'll see on your bridging visa are reflective of your previous visa. So if you're currently on a 485, which you are, and you apply for a student visa, you'll have a bridging visa granted, and it will become active the day after your 485 expires. And the conditions on that bridging visa will be of your 485.
Okay.
So the question is, will they allow you to do the end of the program during the months awaiting the student visa grant? And we can use a few tricks there, which I shouldn't be talking to you about tricks. So we need to delay the grant of your student visa. So what we can do is little things like delay you doing the medicals or something like that to try to stop them from granting your student visa quickly, if professional year team will allow you to enroll. Okay.
All right. So
So
that's
I'm not sure. My understanding is they don't, but we can try to see what we can do.
okay.
But you have to try. We have to try our best for you. It's your last savior. Yeah. Okay. Any more
Okay.
questions?
Bagus, bagus.
Yes, Sam. Any question from Adriati? Adriati, my Aldecott student
Yep.
in Borneo. Wait, I'm read first. Can a nurse certificate from Indonesia apply for a job in Australia, maybe in Darwin?
Okay. So when you say a certificate from Indonesia, I need to know what occupation it is because each occupation has different skills assessment requirements, right? What certificate?
I don't know. Just the Adriati just telling me nurse certificate. Only
Nurse.
certificate. I don't
Nurse.
know. Nurse.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to nursing, there are certain countries around the world that can apply for registration in their country, and their registration is valid in Australia, which means that all those qualifications are considered equivalent, the same, right? Indonesia, like many countries, would need to go through an assessment process to find out what units are missing to get registration in Australia. All right. But still, Ardana, at the end of the day, you still need to get the English, 7 in each band. So 2 things to work as a nurse in Australia: registration, 7 in each band. Maybe the qualification in Indonesia will require that person to study 6 months or 7 months or a year. I'm not sure. We have to make it an assessment, right? But they still need to get the English. Okay. Is that clear? Any more questions? All right.
Uh-huh.
Yes. More
Yeah, please.
questions?
Please continue, because
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
checking. Whether they are-
So we went through the point system, right? 189 is the top one. 190 and 491 are the state nomination permanent visa pathways. And then we talked about that 482 where the employer can sponsor you. Okay. Right? So you don't need a skills assessment for that if you're from Indonesia. Okay.
Oh,
Just
okay.
need qualification and 2 years experience. So in the case of Ricky, he already has a qualification. He already has 2 years experience overseas. If Ricky was being paid his salary into his bank account, if Ricky has tax returns and we can prove those 2 years experience, he probably doesn't need a student visa. He can go straight to 482 sponsored by an employer. Right?
Right.
So an overseas qualification is considered valid for 482. And experience that we can prove is considered valid for 482. And Ricky, you don't need 6, 6, 6, 6 in IELTS. You only need 5, 5, 5, 5 in IELTS for the 482. And that's why I have many Indonesian candidates who actually do 482 visa. Because they have the experience, the qualification, and 5 in each band of English. So it's a great pathway to permanent residency. And then they get a 4-year sponsored work visa where the salary is minimum 54,000 plus superannuation. And after being employed for 3 years, if the employer agrees, we can apply for permanent residency through the employer. But at that stage, they need 6666. Okay. Right? So that's that visa option, which is really good for those that need more time to get the English. Yeah. And for those that can't get the English, hopefully they get married to an Australian in the meantime, and we can apply for partner visa. Yeah. Okay. If they fall in love in Australia, we can help them. All right. Now, does anybody else have any more questions?
Silakan.
Please.
Mbak Endah ya?
Yeah. Hi,
yeah.
Samantha. So for the employer nomination, does the employer have to pay some fees?
Yeah, of course, a lot of fees. It's quite expensive.
Okay, right.
But if, for example, you're a chemical engineer
Yeah.
and they want to hire, you need to have 2 years experience, remember?
Mhm.
And they want to hire you. For the sponsorship application, they have to pay $540 for the nomination application to employ you 4 years. If their business makes less than $10 million, they pay something like $4,800 for the Skilling Australia Fund plus a $330 application fee. And then you have your visa application, and then you got all my fees, you know, so it does get a little bit expensive. But for many candidates who cannot get an invitation, it's the perfect opportunity because the cost can amount to $15,000 to $20,000, but that's employment for 4 years. So, for example, as a chemical engineer, you would expect a minimum salary of 70,000, right?
Mhm.
So I'm assuming it would be 60, 70,000, maybe not in the graduate year, but on other years. If it's 70,000 at a cost of $20,000 and you're earning $140,000, $280,000 over 4 years, it's worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely beneficial.
Awesome.
Good money saving.
Yeah. And then for the 2 years of experience, does it have to be like 2 years with the same employer? What if you
No,
have
no,
Oh,
it can
okay.
be offshore, it can be onshore, wherever, but it has to be as a chemical engineer.
Oh, okay, cool. Right. Yep. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
With financial evidence.
Okay.
When I mean financial evidence, I'm not talking about pay slips and pay cash. You need to show at least 2 forms of financial evidence, which I usually say, okay, do you have your bank statement? Do you have your pages summary? Do you have your pay slips? Do you have your superannuation? Right? Because I never know what immigration will come back and ask me. So I try to cover all aspects to be safe.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah? Any more questions? Well, I don't know about all of you. If you have no more questions, I think I've given you a general overview of those pathways to permanent residency for skilled migration. For all of you there, I can imagine you're all studying in different fields. Oh, Audi's got more questions.
I'm sorry, is there any way like we can discuss this privately? Like,
Yeah, sure. Ardana or maybe the embassy can organize some sort of a link so that we can email and have a consultation in private. Not today because it's like Friday evening here,
Yeah.
but we can organize it next week and discuss how we can resolve your problem. Okay, on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. So Ardana, maybe you can organize it. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, of course.
Yeah. For anyone who would like to have further discussions on how we can resolve problems for you, and maybe not resolve problems, but set up your pathway to permanent residency.
Okay.
Yeah, get you on the right track today so that you can get permanent residency. That's what we have to try to do if that's what you want. All right. So sometimes clients will come to me, oh, that course is too expensive. And I'm thinking, hold on, you know, your earning potential will be this much when you finish, right? You're investing in your future. So I try to convince my clients when I discover what they're really good at and I discover that they have a real good chance at permanent residency, I try to convince them to follow that path. Okay. So I think I've covered, it's really hard to go really deep into migration because there's a lot of information to learn. But I think I've covered in general about 80% of the skilled migration visas. I didn't go into regional sponsored migration because it requires more information. I didn't go into business investment either because that's really high level for people who have been business people for many years. I've covered for you candidates who are in Australia either on a working holiday visa or on a student visa or on a tourist visa, and how I can help you get to your goals. And we can talk more in depth in person, one-on-one, to see how we can help you achieve it. Okay? Yeah? Maybe I'll hand it over to you, Ardana, now.
Yes, yeah, Samantha.
Yes.
yeah, this is an introduction only, I think, and then we
Yeah.
know that we are going deep further. Anyone can ask questions further. In more private manner. That they could be more satisfied with. When going into details, then they are most welcome. So because
Absolutely.
this webinar is to introduce Samantha. We also want some friends from Northern Territory also take part in this program, and then they can get some benefit from taking part in the introductory program. Yeah, in this overview about about the visa and the permanent residency. So this is an opening actually to really.
Good.
Yeah, we are here to try to help our Indonesian citizens, Indonesian friends anywhere, not only on Northern Territory because it's open. We have friends from Melbourne, from other places here, from Sydney. Yeah, they are all here. So we would like them to ask question if they want to still. Please do. Otherwise, you can get the you can contact by email. Can do anything after this. It is very important to know the basic. And I think today we have already got some certain details. Which we took note of it. Yeah, of these details. Yeah. And then, from the 26 friends here to take part in this program, I think they have also done the same, and then they have something in mind, which I think they will just ask later, so, we have some time, we have something like 1.5 hours. So, we have gone through now for about 75 minutes or more. Yeah. So more than 1 hour now. So I think let us see, if you still have Samantha to say a few words more with regard to some key points that is good to remember for further discussion, please do so. We have some, Ardana is also there to convey something related to his, excellency study, his vision, his program. You are also welcome for that. Yeah. Please, if you still have some question, please do ask at the moment. Otherwise, maybe we would like to invite Samantha to have some closing remarks, some key points, at the end of this. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, I'll hand it over to you, Ardana, and then I'll speak after you.
Silakan Pak Ardana kalau gitu.
Okay.
Ya, thank you. Yeah, please.
Sam, for your explain. Terima kasih Pak, dan halo, selamat malam semua. Kalau di sini saya berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia untuk teman-teman kita. Saya berbicara dari Excellency Study sebagai perusahaan ataupun juga yang membantu teman-teman di Education Consultant Company. Jadi kami saat ini sedang membuat program untuk membuka kesempatan bagi teman-teman yang ingin, yang khususnya yang berada di Indonesia ya, yang ingin datang ke Australia dengan menggunakan student visa. Dan kita saat ini sedang memprovide salah satunya dengan membuat sekolah ELICOS ataupun General English kepada teman-teman yang berminat. Dan kita nanti akan memberikan salah satunya adalah sekolah yang ada di Darwin juga kebetulan BIC selama 5 minggu General English atau ELICOS. Setelah mereka menyelesaikan 5 minggu sekolah itu, kami akan memberikan sertifikat. Dan sertifikat inilah yang menjadikan alasan buat kami untuk memberikan undangan teman-teman datang melalui Darwin dari Indonesia. Dan bagi teman-teman yang ingin apply seperti turis visa, untuk saat ini kami bukan atau belum mau melakukan hal itu, tetapi untuk student visa saat ini sudah kelihatan akan secepatnya buka border untuk student visa ini. Tapi kapan ya kita belum tahu, karena student di sini juga dipekerjakan oleh pemerintah Australia dan secara legal mereka diberikan kesempatan. Dan apalagi tadi Samantha bilang untuk pekerjaan di bidang hospitality untuk student itu sudah full time, tidak ada batasannya waktu lagi seperti 20 jam atau 30 jam, tapi di sini sudah diberikan full untuk teman-teman. Jadi mungkin saya tidak akan banyak menceritakan apa, tapi saya lebih ingin teman-teman di sini bertanya tentang bagaimana regulasinya dan apa yang bisa kita bantu untuk teman-teman. Oke, saat ini kita buka diskusi untuk student visanya. Apa ada yang mau
Okay.
bertanya?
Hand over to me.
Any question for international student SM? I'm open question. Them.
Ya, silakan kalau ada yang bertanya kepada Pak Ardana ya, silakan please. If anyone has questions to
Selamat
be
sore
addressed
Pak, saya Stenardi, saya ingin bertanya.
Ya, selamat sore juga.
Jadi gini Pak, saya berencana ambil S2 di Darwin. Saya sudah cari tahu juga tentang di Darwin itu sekolah-sekolah apa aja, dan saya ambil keputusan mungkin ingin ambil Master Degree of IT di CDU. Hanya saya ingin bertanya, saya rencananya itu ingin untuk sekolah di bulan 3 tahun depan. Kira-kira kalau seperti itu, kan sekarang border belum buka nih untuk student ya. Tapi saya ada cari tahu juga tentang, saya pada lihat itu dia sekarang lagi ada charter flight yang dari CDU yang bisa terbang melalui Singapura. Itu kira-kira gimana ya Pak?
Oke, dengan siapa nih tadi?
Stenardi Pak. Stenardi, Stenardy.
Oke, Stenardi posisinya ada di mana saat ini?
Saya di Medan Pak.
Di Medan. Oke, langsung aja ya. Kemarin kita sempat bertemu dengan Rachel Sanahan. Dia adalah direktur dari Study NT No Territory. Untuk mencharter pesawat itu ada dalam pembicaraan kami untuk mendatangkan teman-teman dari Indonesia. Khususnya kami nggak menyebutkan sekolah mana karena kalau CBU sendiri itu kan dia besar ya, university besar yang saat ini mereka punya program sendiri juga. Tetapi yang sudah ada dengan Excellency Study ini, kami bertemu dengan Rachel Sanahan bahwa kami juga akan memprovide dan akan membantu untuk charter flight dari kemungkinan bisa dari Bali ke Darwin. Minimal kita bisa memberangkatkan, bukan minimal, minimal kita dengan 100 orang kita bisa bantu untuk mencarterkan pesawat dari Indonesia untuk ke Darwin dan bersekolah di Darwin. Dan informasinya juga yang kami dapatkan dari Bapak Konjen RI yang ada di Sydney, Bapak Heru Subolo, beliau kemarin juga sempat memberikan penjelasan ini di dalam channel YouTube saya, bahwa dari pihak South Australia, Premier South Australia dan juga Premier dari Australia ini sudah mengirimkan surat ke KBRI yang ada di Canberra bahwa dalam waktu dekat ini untuk student visa itu akan diberikan kesempatan untuk masuk. Tetapi ini di tengah pandemi ini ya, di tengah pandemi ini. Tapi kalau dibuka border untuk semua visa, kami belum mendapatkan informasi itu. Untuk sementara ini adalah student visa dulu. Oke, Stenardi, penjelasannya seperti itu.
Oke Pak, terima kasih, sangat membantu. Saya juga dapat advice yang bagus juga dari Bapak. Mungkin itu aja yang bisa saya tanya. Terima kasih banyak Pak.
Oke, terima kasih sama-sama. Oke, teman-teman yang lain mungkin ada lagi yang mau bertanya?
Silakan teman-teman.
Hening. Seperti di kuburan hening. Ini Ricky dari tadi nih di Ani sama Samantha nih seperti favorit si Samantha. Ricky favorit Samantha.
Ada Ricky, ada Audi, semua ada jadi favorit nih. Enda juga.
Ya, Audi nanti bisa teks aku ya kalau mau diberikan dengan Samantha, dihubungkan dengan Samantha ya. Dan juga di sini saya ada Miss Evi. Miss Evi ini dari Excellency Study kita yang ada di Bali. Jadi kemungkinan nanti teman-teman jika nanti mau apply student visa itu Miss Evi ini akan membantu. Karena untuk Indonesia center point daripada administrasi kita ada di Bali. Oke, mungkin perkenalan dulu Miss Evi, silakan kalau boleh.
Ya, silakan.
Ya.
Baik, terima kasih kepada Mbak Ardana Gumai. Terima kasih juga kepada pihak KRI Darwin ya untuk kesempatan yang diberikan kepada kami dan kerjasama yang diberikan juga kepada kami selaku Excellency Study. Terima kasih untuk waktunya, Bapak.
Terima kasih. Silakan.
Ya, perkenalkan, nama saya Evi. Saya representatif person untuk Excellency Study yang ada di Indonesia. Kami bertempat di Bali, lengkapnya di Jalan Mahendra Data, Denpasar. Jadi misalnya ada teman-teman atau Bapak KRI yang lagi jalan-jalan ke Bali, bisa mampir berkunjung di kantor kami. Kami siap menemui Bapak-Bapak sekalian.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Jadi kesempatan ini pastinya berguna banget untuk teman-teman semuanya yang berkeinginan untuk menetap lama dan apply untuk permanent resident, karena Miss Samantha ini sangat-sangat profesional dan kita sudah bekerja sama cukup lama dengan Miss Samantha. Thanks to you, Sam, for your time, for your place. It's very good, very helpful for us.
Thank you.
Mungkin itu saja dari saya. Mungkin tempat dan waktu saya kembalikan kepada Bapak Ardana Gumai.
Terima kasih untuk Ibu Evi. Karena saya bukan hostnya, jadi saya kembalikan ke KRI. Silakan.
Bisa bertanya, Pak ya.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Ardana. Ini kebetulan Pak Julius ada pertanyaan. Coba silakan Pak Julius.
Mungkin Mas Ardana mungkin bisa dijelaskan juga gimana selama ini Excellency Study itu bekerja sama dengan universitas-universitas atau pihak-pihak terkait di Indonesia untuk merekrut calon-calon mahasiswa di Indonesia untuk dapat studi di Australia, Pak. Biar teman-teman juga memiliki gambaran
sedikit gambaran ya
proses dan tahap-tahap itu, Pak.
Oke.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Terima kasih Mas Julius. Pertanyaannya bagus banget. Oke, untuk teman-teman, pada tahun 2020 awal di bulan Januari, kami sudah melakukan kunjungan ke Jakarta ya, dan juga Bali, Bandung dan lain sebagainya termasuk Jogja untuk membuat kesepakatan kerjasama dengan beberapa kampus yang sudah menandatangani MOU dengan kami. Mungkin saya bisa sebutkan di antaranya adalah Trisakti, Tarumanegara, Universitas Pertahanan, kemudian ada Telkom University yang ada di Bandung, kemudian ada di Bali, saya lupa namanya. Boleh dibantu dengan ini, Bu Evi?
Udayana, Istiqom, lalu ada Warma Dewa, dan beberapa universitas lainnya.
Ya, dan kami sudah menemui soal ke mereka termasuk Al-Azhar, kemudian Muhammadiyah, dan juga Stikes Yatsi, yang dimana di Stikes Yatsi ini membawahi ada sekitar 200 universitas ataupun perguruan yang mereka bawahi. Jadi kemarin kita juga, satu lagi Universitas Pertahanan, Onhan Defense University. Ya, Samantha juga waktu itu datang. Samantha come to Indonesia, join us ya waktu itu ya. Jadi kita sudah melakukan kerjasama dan juga MOU, dan kebetulan pas pada saat kami ingin melakukan kerjasamanya untuk ditindaklanjuti, udah keburu lockdown. Dan ketika itu ya kita bulan Februari, dari Januari, Februari kita datang ke Indonesia, dan bulan Maret saya harus bertolak ke Australia. Samantha kasih saya informasi bahwa takut terjadi yang namanya travel ban, jadi saya harus segera kembali ke Jakarta. Tetapi kami mempunyai representatif, yaitu Bapak Haiba, salah satu guru besar di Trisakti, dan beliaulah nanti yang akan menjadi representatif kami yang ada di Jakarta. Dan kedepannya kami juga akan membuat sekolah, maksudnya kami akan membuat program dual degrees seperti itu. Jadi sekolahnya nanti ada di Indonesia 1 tahun dan kemudian di Australia 1 tahun. Atau bisa dibalik, nanti kita mendatangkan student dari Australia ke Indonesia juga. Dan ya, untuk sementara penjelasan seperti itu, Pak.
Oke.
Terima kasih informasinya, Pak.
Terima kasih ya. Jadi memang masalah COVID di mana-mana ada hambatan yang kita lihat di mana-mana ya. Jadi mudah-mudahan ya kita berdoa juga ya, kita melakukan sesuatu juga untuk bisa get rid of COVID ya as soon as possible ya. Tapi semua kita lakukan, semua pemerintah sedang melakukan, semua masyarakat juga ikut melihat bagaimana bisa keluar dari pandemi ini. Ya, begitu Pak ya. Oke, biar semua kembali Pak, semua excellency tadi bisa bergerak, semua anak-anak kita bisa kembali berkuliah, bisa dapat ini ya, apa namanya PR, Samantha juga bisa tambah kerja lagi banyak lagi ya. Ya, we want that. Everyone wants that ya. Baik Pak Ardana. Sekarang kita kembali ke Samantha ya. Samantha would like to get back to get you back on the screen, please. You know?
All right. So I can give a little summary of what we talked about today, but more than give a little summary, I want to tell you what you need to be focusing on to get to the permanent residency, right? It's about choosing an occupation that's on the permanent visa list. It's called the MLTSSL, right? It's a medium to long-term skilled list, okay? This list is the one that allows occupations to get permanent residency, right? For example, chef, nurse, doctor, accountant, IT specialist, yeah? Mechanics, carpenters, electrician, plumber, okay? If you have identified an occupation that is on the permanent visa list, and that occupation is something that you are very passionate about and you love and that you would love working in, the next thing we need to focus on is your employability. What I mean by that is, are there plenty of jobs available in Australia for you? Because gaining experience in your field is a key factor to getting permanent residency, yeah? So a quick way of checking that is to go on seek.com.au in each area. It's also to check what jobs were easier for you to get while on a student visa, for example, or a working holiday visa. That's why I realize that I get so many candidates coming to me as chefs, as nurses, right? But I have so many people on student visa going with accounting and can't pursue the permanent residency pathway because they can't get experience. So employability is about being good at what you do and being able to get jobs in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. These are like there are so many complex legislation and law matters relating to visas, but this is what I want you to focus on, right? Choosing an occupation that you love, that's on the permanent visa list, and that you can easily get jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. And that will get you PR. All right. And we can talk about that one-on-one at some point in the near future to try to have a counseling session that sets you up on the pathway to permanent residency. Okay. And I'm not the kind of agent who likes to push you to study something you're not interested in, because that won't work either. Okay. You need to be able to study something you are interested in, and that can lead to permanent residency. That's crucial. We don't want you to waste your time, your money studying courses that are not interesting to you. We want to find the ideal path to permanent residency, but that keeps you motivated and happy as well. And employed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I see it in a nutshell. Each candidate is different because you all have different skills and interests and, you know, English ability, etc. So we have to definitely talk more in detail with each candidate. But you already have enough information to go away and have a think about what would be the best option for you based on your own skills and your ability to get jobs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Got it?
Right. Samantha, could you please also, give your email address so that anyone who is interested to contact you later by email, they can do so?
Can I put it in the chat, or how do I do it?
Yeah.
I'm not very computer literate.
Text it by chat.
Yeah. Type message here. Got it. Is this going to everybody? Everyone here. All right. You can email me at info@oswidevisas.com.au, or you can alternatively organize with Ardana, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
he can redirect.
Yeah.
Did you all get my email?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sudah? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And
Or
Ardana
you can contact the Excellency team.
Okay.
And they can organize it very easily because I'm in contact with them every day. We work together.
Right.
Okay.
I understand that they might have many questions to ask, but the time we have not enough time. That's why I think when they're going into detail, I'm sure that they will contact you and want to know more. What they should do. From now on. I
Yes,
understand
absolutely.
Yeah. I understand very much that today they got something. They might have got something else somewhere, but today they have a little bit more in detail. Some good tips. When they listen to you thoroughly, 1 hour,
I
more
hope
than
so.
1 hour now. Yeah. So I hope that will be helpful. That piece of information today that we had the discussion could be useful for them to further the intention to get the PR.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Samantha. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate the opportunity to talk to all these lovely people.
Right. And Indonesia, you have been there,
Many
I'm sure that-
times. Many times.
Many times. You love the food, Indonesian food. You love everything. You love the
Love
nature of Indonesia. So I think you will love our friends from, where we're from Indonesia. Would like
Bali
to.
also.
My favorite clients, yeah.
Right.
Everyone's so sweet. Everyone's happy people. I love it.
Right. So we are only, giving some, we would like to really see some people, get something from here, to further take that further, so that, they can try to really see what they can do from now on further. Hope that, they get very good in you, very good, explanation given by you, and to further, to really see. I understand that many of them will be there and to really work with Ardana as well and work with you, Samantha, to get a clarity to further their cause, to further their intention, to make it good here in Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha.
Thank you for inviting me.
So can we get? I think it's good to take a picture all together. We have some.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Samantha, post posting in our Instagram.
Nyalakan kamera.
Take my glasses off, yeah?
Yeah, please do, because this is a good memory. Silakan teman-teman semua menyalakan kamera supaya kita bisa bisa kita foto bersama ini. Mbak Alex, ya, oke, good. Andi, Audi, Bernadette, ya. Silakan.
1,000.
Mukti, Enda, ya. Okay, I think we got some 10 persons or more. Yeah. Okay, we have taken some pictures here. So, terima kasih. Thank you so much, ya. Thank you so much, Samantha. Terima kasih, Ardana. Teman-teman yang sudah ikutan tadi diskusi, terima kasih. Mudah-mudahan.
Thank you.
Ya, mudah-mudahan apa yang kita lakukan ini bermanfaat, ya. Ini ya. Hopefully ini juga bisa dilihat karena saya kira bisa dilihat rekamannya juga, ya. Oke, terima kasih. Ya, thank you all, ya.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Mr. Samantha.
Ya, oke.
Terima kasih semua, guys.
Ya, all good. Thank you.
Oke.
Yap, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Oke, bye.
Bye.
Sekian ke rumah Desi. Cukup sekian dan terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Pak Ardana. Terima kasih. Samantha.